Good afternoon. I'm Dara Bunjon. I'm the food enthusiast here at J More Living. I'm a food writer, food stylist, PR maven, and a frustrated baker. Those of you joining us live, please drop your comments or questions for my guest or myself in the comment box, and you'll see me from time to time turn my head and we'll answer your questions or read your comments. This week's guest is Milène Jardine, founder and chocolatier of the chocolate company carrying her name, Milène Jardine Chocolates. This woman-owned company offers sustainably sourced, vegan, handmade luxury chocolate bars. At only 140 calories and less than 8 grams of sugar per bar, they are perfect for any diet. They have provided gifts for Paramount's upfronts. Town and Country's featured their truffles for the best boxed chocolates. Forbes highlighted the bars in the holiday guide for the best fancy chocolate bars, and Food Network promoted them as one of their favorite female-founded brands. The dark 70% cacao bars tantalize with flavors like toasted coconut and lime leaf, rosemary, Sicilian salted lemon, South American dark chocolate, and raw pistachio. I have contained myself. I have had the bars so I can show them to you. I did not dig in. They were wonderful. Let's bring in Milène. Hi, Milène.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for sending me your wonderful chocolates. I know that the salted lemon is going to be yum because I tasted it at the fancy food show.
Yes.
And I was so impressed by all of these emerging companies. I've had a number of them on, but I remember chatting with you and you talked about your background, but I'm trying to see if my memory at this age is any good. Is your husband an artist?
Yes.
I remembered something. I'm so excited.
You have a good memory.
You impressed me. The products impressed me. So, other than doing the show today, what else do you have on your plate to do?
In terms of like daily tasks, like a to do.
Or what's on your plate to do today? I know you had a meeting before this.
Well, one, I'm a little late on self-care. I want to make the gym at some point. So I try to make the gym at some point. You're supposed to do it in the morning, but sometimes that doesn't happen. My laptop committed suicide yesterday, so I had to upload and a new one, which is done and exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm set up on my laptop, so I have to go back and answer emails, try to get in a little bit of self-care. Um, we have some holiday pitches that we have to get out. So it's a busy day, but I'm not in the kitchen today. So I'm like working from home.
Okay. I was just taking care of setting up the screen. And to the folks, we switched programs from StreamYard to Zoom. So I'm sort of navigating. It's a little bit different for me today, too, but it's fine. I think most people have been on Zoom, so it's not an issue. I'm just checking it out here. I did a little digging. So Milène Jardine, there's some French. Your mother was from Paris?
Yes.
Was your father French? Is your father French as well? Or
No, my father is American. So my father grew up in Manhattan, New York, and my mom was visiting here for just a few days, and my father caught her while she was walking to the YMCA she was staying at. And he tried to talk to her, and she kept trying to shush him away, and he wouldn't go away. And then they hung out for her whole trip because he was, very persistent. And then she went back to France. He went back to the YMCA and got her address, which they're not supposed to give. They wrote letters back and forth for 6 months, and he convinced her to move here. And gosh, is it like almost 50 years now? Yeah, they've been married.
that's a great story. That's a great story. I know that from a young age, you were very infatuated with chocolate and butter and flour. And your parents, from what I read, helped indulge your creativity even as a youngster. Can you tell me more about that? And maybe tell me a bit about your family table and growing up.
Yeah, so my mom, so one thing I learned about like our food system was when my family from France would come visit, they would kind of they would laugh and we'd go to the supermarket, they'd see like our big apples, and they're like shiny and so big and they would laugh. And I was like, what are you laughing at? And they would just comment at how I guess they felt our food here was more processed and there was, more touching and less just kind of fresh farm to table approach. So my mom always tried to keep us like very healthy, minimized how much sugar we ate, wanted us eating grape nut cereal. And I was like, what child wants to eat grape nut cereal, right? Like I wanted Lucky Charms, I wanted um Cocoa Pebbles. So the only way to get those things I wanted was to make them. And that's how I guess my love of sugar and sweets started was and I wasn't watching TV if I was baking and I was technically using all fresh ingredients, right? Like fresh butter and all these things. So they indulged me and let me make a mess in the kitchen.
That's great. I think I read something they would bring in different types of ingredients that you could work with.
Hmm. I would
So,
slip in new things on my father's, the food list. My father did the food shopping and I'd slip in things. Sometimes I'd go to Pathmark with him and just grab things off the shelf. Hmm.
so high school, college, you were doing this as a side business. Yeah, a side business.
Hmm.
But you went forward, you were in marketing and business.
Hmm.
You hadn't thought about this as a career. This was like a side business for you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So did that help you financially pay off your school debts?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So, um, in high school, I always danced, but then I ended up breaking my feet about 3 times. So when I was in college, I was like, oh, this is going to be hard to pay off all of these loans, a dancer hopping around. So I switched to business. I switched to marketing. I went to the business school at Rutgers. I was always good at math, and that definitely helped to pay off all my student debt. I actually worked 2 jobs after I graduated. I stayed at this country club I used to work at. And growing up I did that weekends and then I started working corporate Macy's during the week to kind of build the corporate career, and it never dawned on me to even think of like making my own business. It just wasn't done in my family. It was like you went and you like got a job. So it wasn't until I got laid off from Macy's that I said, you know what, let me see if I could make this like a real thing. Um, and that was kind of like the push that I needed. And the other thing I had noticed was when I would be trying to sell a line into my buyers at Macy's, I was doing their private label brand. So I would try to convince these buyers to buy like Alfani and Club Room instead of, Tommy Hilfiger and Ralph Lauren. And it was sometimes challenging. So I would always bake for them. And that's how I would get these buyers sometimes because I couldn't take them out to fancy restaurants. I didn't have the budgets. I couldn't wine and dine them the way the brands did, but I would make them things. And it did help the buy meetings. Like I had one buyer who was obsessed with everything that I made, and he used to give me really good receipts when I would make these chocolate, like brownie, just crazy concoctions of desserts. So when I got my severance, I was like, oh, let's see if I can like build my own brand, but have it be around sweets.
And you have a knack for that. And I have to say that the packaging, one of the things at the Fancy Food Show was your packaging just caught my eye, and I'm going to bring it up to the camera. Let's see. I have a little me on the screen here, so I think we can see it. Okay. Just beautiful. So, was your husband, you said I know that your husband was an artist. Was he involved in the graphics on this, or it was totally different?
I didn't know my husband back when I launched the bar. So the husband's come in just the last few years, and
Oh,
he's helped with the creative direction and really helping to elevate the look of the brand. But the packaging, who did it was one of the designers I used to work with at Macy's, actually. We had worked together for 10 years. We both got laid off at the same time, and we had the same birthday, and she was Japanese, and I loved um, visiting Japan. Like she actually helped me plan some trips there because I used to have to go to Asia a lot for work because that's where the factories and all production was happening. And after she got laid off, I started to see her post these beautiful sketches. And I
right.
had only seen her, put stripes on like a polo shirt or put a plaid on a flannel shirt. I didn't know she had the ability, you know what I mean, to do things like this. So then I asked her if she would design my packaging, and she did a phenomenal job.
Well, you had huge success, and you were at the Fancy Food Show in the emerging section.
Hmm.
And you took part of DoorDash
Hmm.
Accelerate program, Queens Economic Development, and wasn't there another one that you worked with that helped you grow the business?
There was Antares Capital, and then most recently I was a part of the Botox Confidence project. Hmm.
So you've tapped into everything. These bars are vegan,
Hmm.
no dairy.
Correct.
The flavors all come from areas that you sort of traveled to. And I think I saw pictures on Instagram where you were in Sicily and in the citrus farmer, and this is where your lemons are coming from.
Hmm.
And, we all know the chocolate caramel with sea salt, but we wouldn't think salt with lemon. And very inspired, and that just grabbed me when I was at the show. The bars are fabulous, but you do truffles
Hmm.
and other chocolates.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure I'm right in things. Do you have something where people can participate and make their own truffles, or you guide them through it?
We do like experiences. So we have a lot of corporate clients, or real estate amenity groups in the city that come to us, and they want an experience for their tenants. And so we'll go in and do like chocolate and wine pairings, chocolate and cheese pairings, even truffle making classes. So we just did one at Northwestern Mutual, and what we did was we made the ganache at the kitchen, and
Right.
would go to the office, and we would give everyone scoopers and all different toppings, and then they would get to scoop the ganache. You get that little circle truffle, and then they could dip it in cocoa powder or pistachio, sesame seeds, and then we give them a nice box to kind of put them all in, and they make their own assortment. And it's a way to just build collaboration, teams. It takes the stress right off the workday for them to all get together and kind of play. And I even give them gloves. What's fun about the truffle making is that you're actually, you're getting like your hands dirty in a sense, right? But I give people gloves. They don't have to like physically get dirty, but I feel like as adults, you don't really get to like play with your hands
Food.
and kind of get in
Yeah.
there, but it's therapeutic, to do that. So everyone is extra happy when we do that. And then oftentimes, we might have wine or cheese on the side that people can sip and kind of eat while they're making their creations.
Right. You do a lot of collaborations, and
Hmm.
I have one here. Wait a second. Where are the glasses? They weren't on the top of the
I know
head.
sometimes
Okay. This was blending wine and cheese and chocolates, citrus, roasted nut, rich decadence, and savory. But you're
Mhm.
also partnered with some spirits and chocolate and spirits. There's chocolate and wine, there's chocolate and cheese. But, what do you do with blue cheese? But you had a pairing for that.
Yeah, so for the blue cheese, I love to pair that with the rosemary bar. So blue cheese can be a little bit strong and pungent. I tend to use more like the Bailey Hazen blue cheese because it's a little bit more custardy and has a dessert feel to it.
All right.
And when you pair it with the rosemary bar, the rosemary, the savory kind of woody notes of the rosemary that are often very strong and dominant, and blue cheese can be very strong and dominant. When you actually put the two together, it softens them. So it creates this like beautiful like melody in your mouth. And people who like blue cheese love it, and people who are a little bit afraid of blue cheese, it's like a way to introduce them to it because the two blend together so softly. So that's
Right.
like a fun one that we do. But we have worked with like the National Cognac Board. So we've done chocolate and cognac pairings, chocolate and whiskey pairings too. We had a collaboration with Virginia Distillery where we made flavors using their actual whiskey. So yeah, we try to have um, create memorable experiences. And the other thing too is when you're trying, say, whiskey, which can be, or cognac, which can be a bit strong, and not
Right.
everyone's, palate is ready to to drink that and experiencing it. When you take a sip of the spirit and then you have the chocolate and then you go back to the spirit, it kind of tones down the spirit and you're able to pick out some of those, say, citrus notes or berry notes in the spirit that you couldn't taste before. So it's almost like a really great chaser to open up your palate to be able to identify some of these notes.
Right. And the chocolate, your chocolate bar is, where is it? I love the little notes that you have on these as well. Okay. So, of course, it's the last one I'm looking at. Let's put on the readers again, where your chocolates come from. And dark chocolate made with fruity Dominican beans and toasty notes from Ecuador's cacao arriba. The blends leave you with a balanced taste of dried fruit and sweet spices. And when people are eating just chocolate, there's so many notes to be picked up because if it grows with it, it, if there are bananas around, if there are wild berries, that the chocolate sort of pick up those notes. Let's see, the coconut lime leaf journey to Thailand with the flavors of warm coconut blended with unique citrus and subtle floral notes of lime leaves. Can't wait to get in that one. You are very much involved with supporting other women,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and let's see what group, Feely Women Masterminds, and I think you learned early on that women starting out in business have a higher failure rate. So you've really become, not only other women have helped you in groups, and part of your mantra is to help other women
Mm-hmm.
and grow. Um, One of the pairings, let me let you talk to that before I jump to another subject.
Yeah, so for Virginia Distillery, that's a women-owned distillery. So the pairing we put together was called like Courage and Conviction. So making products that kind of elevate more women. Cheese Grotto, someone that's also a women-owned company, and we do a lot of chocolate and cheese pairings. She makes these um she almost like replicates a cheese cave in these little wooden kind of humidor looking um countertop cases that you store your cheese in. And we work together a lot. So we're trying to let people know just how good chocolate and cheese are together. But yeah, I love working with other women because it can get really challenging. So it's just nice to be able to support and like elevate other people's voices.
What are some of the flavors? We know the flavors of the bars,
Mm-hmm.
but your truffles, what do we have on season? What seems to be popular on your truffle line?
Yeah, so right now for like a seasonal apple pie, that's what I had sent you. So
Right.
we did an apple pie truffle. We have a matcha truffle that's seasonal right now. A vegan caramel And then our classic line that we kind of carry year round is a dark chocolate, a whiskey sea salt, hibiscus mint, ginger turmeric, black pepper, and an orange liqueur. So those, yeah, five core ones, and then we have three seasonal. I have one client in LA who buys the truffles wholesale and puts them in their display cases. And they wanted to do a strawberry matcha. So I'm going to work on that for them just because I had a strawberry matcha drink the other day and it tasted so good. So I was like, okay, let's do a strawberry matcha truffle. Mostly because I want to eat it.
Well, it's very interesting, you know, what flavors pull into chocolate and, why you may be drawn to this. A couple weeks ago, we had a chocolatier on who has a cookbook out, and he's out in Memphis. So his flavors are that of Memphis and
Mm.
growing up are in there, and yours. One of the interesting pairings was with a perfume company. It wasn't, it was like
Oh,
a
so
pack.
yeah, Brunello Cucinelli, they are a luxury brand. And years ago, I went along Madison Avenue and I just went into all the luxury stores to try to talk to the managers to say, hey, do you want some chocolates to be able to gift to your top clients? And I was able to connect with Brunello Cucinelli. And over the years, we've fostered a nice relationship. Sometimes we go in their stores and do pairings and events for Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. And most recently this year, they had a new perfume line and they wanted chocolates that went back to the notes in the perfume. So we created a custom line for them. It's like an honor to be asked, like, by Brunello Cucinelli to like work with them. And we did a lavender truffle. We did a orange truffle, a rosemary truffle, and then a fig truffle. And we had like a nice custom box to put the four pieces in.
Right. We talked about you supporting women.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure you have a personal mantra: live by love.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
need that more and more, don't we, nowadays? Um,
Yes.
did you do something like a teletasting where people got sent the chocolates and then you did the tasting via like Zoom or something like that?
We do a lot of virtual pairings. Yeah, so definitely during COVID, I was actually extremely fortunate to grow during COVID because I pivoted to these virtual pairings. Um, and we still do them. A lot of companies, are back into the office, but there are still companies like, your Googles, your Metas, that people are still very far away. So then everyone kind of comes together and we do these virtual pairings. We mail the kits out ahead of time and then we experiencing them together over Zoom. And a lot of success with that. And the platform we use for that, it's called Class Bento. We like working with them as they also donate to NAMI. So every event, money goes back to the National Alliance for Mental Illness. So,
That's what I love about food people. They're always giving back.
yeah, yeah.
And sometimes they have such, if I think of a restaurant, there's such a narrow margin, but they're the ones who support, and
Hmm.
that's all the charities reach out to them. Before we went on air, you were just about showing me some of the things you had by your desk. So
Oh, yeah. So
let's do that.
we're working right now on these little Santas. And what's cute about them, I don't know if you could
Uh,
hear that.
yes, I just
So
did.
inside, we're gonna have so when you break it open, it's gonna have like we want to replicate snow. And I was thinking of using um cocoa like coconut, but then I was like, wait, there's allergens in coconut, not everyone likes coconut. So then we took like white nonpareils, so to kind of like replicate snow, and then we also did chocolate stars. So we're still kind of like I'm trying to figure out the marketing angle. This will be my husband's job because he's my creative director. But something about like finding your joy or finding your star this holiday season. Because then when you break it open, it'll be like snow and stars. And we used to do these like solid nutcrackers. And I just wanted to do something a little bit different this year, kind of challenge us with like technique and presentation. And people always want, I know like in Italy during the Easter season, there's always like those big eggs, and people get sad when they break open the stuff and there's nothing like inside. So I feel like I want to give people, some fun. But then I was also thinking I should maybe warn them so that they don't like open it and then, you know, sprinkles go everywhere, like the little snow goes everywhere, and they get mad at me. So I have to think of like a nice insert because I love the idea, and the person who buys it for them might not tell the person, and then I don't want to anger people either. The
Well, it could be something in the
given.
packaging,
Yeah.
so before you open it, warning, cute little warning tag, and
Yeah.
that would catch their attention.
Yeah, that's true. Warning. I like that idea. Yeah.
Okay. I
The-
won't charge you for it.
Thank you. I'll give you more chocolate.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you gave me plenty. I'll take chocolate any day of the week. Um, what was it? I had something. Was there something else that you were showing? I know that you had a
Oh, I
couple
had a
before.
truffle here if people wanted to see the truffle. So they're these little almost like a pyramid shape. And so the truffles we make are molded, not enrobed. So it allows us to kind of play with the center with like a softer texture, because then we're
Right.
creating a shell, piping in the ganache, and then like closing it. So I like having a little bit more of that flexibility. And I feel like everyone does circles, and I really just liked the clean, modern square shape. And I used to go to Egypt a lot actually for work. I used to go to the garment factories there, and I loved um, going to the
The, py-
pyramids. Like it
the
was so much
pyramids. Right.
fun. Like we had a factory right next to the Giza pyramids, so it was like I would run around the pyramids, um, and then I would like go see the factory. I was lucky enough to have team members that um, were okay with maybe some of my unorthodox ways of doing business. I like to have fun as well as work.
Well, you absorb more when you're relaxed and
Yeah.
comfortable and laughing.
Yeah.
So, just to let people know, all the links are in the comments section, but all you have to know is MileneJardine.com, and that will lead you to everything, the Instagram, the Facebook, and you can buy online. It's easily accessible. You don't have to be in New York.
Mhm.
It's there for you to take advantage of and enjoy. Um, I think we can come to my closing questions,
Sure.
sort of the actor studio copy thing.
Okay.
Uh, what was your ultimate culinary fail, Marlene?
Also I know you, I was thinking about this question. I was thinking about which thing to talk about. Um, I guess, every failure is kind of like a learning, right?
Right.
Opportunity in a sense. Um, So I guess what comes to mind right now, what's fresh in my head is this week making those Santas. I had a vision in my head for a price point, how many we could make in a shift. I had, one of a highly experienced chocolatier helping me, and we we just did not come anywhere close to what I thought we could produce, which affects the distribution on it. Like I don't think I can offer it at wholesale just because I can't get the price point that low. I think I'm just gonna have to do direct to consumer, make it really limited edition, and it was really challenging. And I'm just not sure why we've done Similar things, but I guess just all the little components going in, it was really tricky.
Mm. So it's not a failure, it's a learning lesson.
Yes.
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 But
Well, I feel like a
it,
true failure would be like, I don't know, I'm always trying to reinvent and learn and change. So, um, failure is like a harsh word because you could always spin it around.
yeah. If you wake up tomorrow morning with a new talent, what would the new talent be?
I'd want to be able to speak more languages. I really wish I was fluent in French. Growing up, I tried, but my accent was never quite there. And then my French family just told me to speak English, not French. And I did, I listened. So I wish I were better with languages and I could just speak French when I go to Italy, speak Italian, because I love traveling. I get all my ideas for the chocolates, and I wish I could communicate with people in their native tongues as opposed to, pantomime and smile and hoping they speak English.
Or if you have a good connection on your phone and you use a translator, but
Yeah, maybe I should do that more.
yeah, but I understand. I think our school system and languages, you know, in other countries, they're started very early into a second language, where here it's like high school or maybe ninth grade or something.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, most people in my kitchen too, like they speak Spanish, they speak Chinese, they speak English, like they speak all these languages, and I just feel so silly, right? I'm like the boss, and I can only speak English,
well, but you're the boss, so you can get away with it.
I guess.
Uh, if you can go back to your 18-year-old self and give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
Relax. I would tell myself to relax. Take more deep breaths and take my time. My mind is always racing and skipping ahead to like what's next and I just wish I could uh told myself to be a little more present.
Okay. Two musts that must be in your refrigerator.
Chocolate and mayo.
Have you paired the chocolate and the mayo together at any time?
No, but I should. Chocolate, I love chocolate. And mayo, I feel like is such a wonderful ingredient. It can make a sandwich so much better. I love adding in different spices to mayo. It's such a good like dipping sauce, You put sriracha in and it's like spicy. You can add mustard to it and there's so many, you make fries and I love just doing all these like dips.
Well, maybe I gave you a second idea,
I
chocolate
know. I
and
was like, maybe
mayo.
do chocolate and mayo. I mean,
Okay,
chocolate and
let
cream
me ask you
are
this on mayo. Is it Hellman's or is it Duke's?
Hellman's.
Okay, just curious.
Although I kind of am on a mayo kick because I went to Greenland this summer, and Greenland is mostly a lot of Danish food, and I had by far the best mayo I've ever tasted in my life. Like I want to find a Danish specialty store and start buying that mayo. Because I asked the people in Greenland, I was like, "Is this your mayo?" And they were like, "No, it's from Denmark." And I was just like, "I need to find this mayo. It is so."
Well, I think that sets out a trip for you to go to Denmark and do a study on chocolates as well as mayo.
I like your thinking.
Yes, I think you ought to take a journalist with you.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Um, best bite you've had all week.
So the other day I was walking through Chelsea Market and there was a Thai restaurant selling the mango with sticky rice. And when I've gone to Thailand, that is by far one of my favorite things to eat there. So it wasn't as good as when I was in Thailand, but it brought me back, right? And that's kind of the fun with food. It's like it brings you back to like that time, those memories. So I got to like sit, eat my mango and sticky rice and be in my head in Thailand for like the evening.
Yeah. So it's funny you say Thailand. Last week's guest, the show came live from Thailand.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, she was across the aisle from you at Tan Thai food, and
Okay.
she did the Thai holy basil. Um, and you just put your protein in it, and it's done. It was so good. So
Hmm.
good. Um, mm, chocolate and Thai, chocolate and basil. Okay, we're going on and on.
I have thought about chocolate and basil. I haven't done it yet, but I have thought about it.
Okay. What didn't I ask you, Milène, that I probably should have?
Um, we got into women, we got into NAMI. Um, I guess, what's different about our chocolates is like for our truffles, we're using fresh cream, real butter, and every time we infuse an ingredient, it's the actual ingredient. It's not an extract or an essential oil.
All right.
That like hibiscus mint is, fresh mint, real hibiscus that we brew in the cream and then extract. So the truffles are only good for, 2, 3 weeks because we're not putting any glucose into the ganache. We're not adding grain alcohol. We're not using milk powder. So it's like if you find a truffle on a store shelf, it's usually milk powder, not fresh cream. And that's how they're able to have it last so long. And I guess a bit of that like that mindset, that French mindset of, you get your baguette for the day and then, you eat it fresh. I feel like the chocolates, I don't want to add anything to them. And then the
Right.
bars were created after the truffles because, I did get pushed and it was challenging to run a business on just perishable
Excuse me.
product.
Right.
So then instead of adding a preservative to the truffles, I said, let me make something that could be like naturally last longer. And that's why I did the bars. That's why they're vegan and similar concept where we're taking like the actual herbs. So like the rosemary, we have rosemary, it's dried, minced to a powder, and then actually tempered throughout the bar. So you're getting the real rosemary. Same thing with the lemon. So the lemon, we get them from Giuseppe, our wonderful farmer in Sicily, and he dries out the lemon peels and then he minces it to a powder and we temper that throughout. So you're getting you may get a little bit of like a piece of lemon, but I think it's nice having that texture and that kind of nice burst of flavor.
Right.
Um, it's not anything artificial. I guess my mother did a good job in getting in my head about eating fresh things without a lot of sugar. She won.
Yeah, she won. And, you know, dark chocolate has medicinal benefits that the milk
Mhm.
chocolate and white chocolate or ruby chocolate do not have.
Well, just there's so little chocolate in milk chocolate. Like milk chocolate's usually like 30% chocolate and then a lot of milk and sugar. White chocolate's like no actual bean, it's just cocoa butter. So if you want the healing benefits of the bean, you actually have to like eat the bean, right? And so like a 70% is going to be a lot closer to getting the bean than, a milk chocolate that's
Right.
30%.
Well, I want to thank you, everybody. MilèneJardine.com. Milène Jardine Chocolates. You will find her on Instagram, you'll find her on Facebook, and definitely go to the website. And I'm sure once you come up with your little stuffed Santa and what you're doing with it, people will scarf it up. So people look for that. I think that's a cute idea. And
Thank
I just hear Will from whatever the science fiction thing, warning, warning,
you.
going through my head.
I like that.
That, yeah, that'll be an earworm for the rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank
Continued
you.
success and the best of the holiday season, Milène. Thank you for joining
too.
us.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Let's see if we're new here. Let's see. Did Griffin take you out? Yes, he did. There you go. Okay. Bye, Milène. We're still getting it down. Next week's guest will be live from Spain. It will be journalist and multiple cookbook author of The Foods of Spain, Janet Mendel. Her latest cookbook, Flavors of El Andalusa, focuses on the culinary legacy of Spain in the modern day. If you need to reach me, you can reach me on Instagram at Dara Cooks or on Facebook, The Food Enthusiast. Go to jmoreliving.com. Up on the menu, you can click on the food menu. You will find the Food Enthusiast there. All our shows are there to be viewed. And also, there's a link to sign up for the bi-monthly news food letter with its recipes, videos, etc., what's going on locally in the food scene here in Baltimore. All our shows are immediately archived in video form on Jmore Living's Facebook page and jmoreliving.com. We truly appreciate it when you share our show with friends and family. Feel free to go back into our archives and enjoy past shows. May your plates always, always remain full. See you next Thursday.